I would probably keep CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is a guy that could be going in the first round of your draft, whereas Mark Andrews is definitely a second round pick based upon strictly looking at things from a value standpoint. I would say that I am pretty confident in both Andrews and CeeDee Lamb, though. So if you wanted to go the other way, you're perfectly fine doing that. But I'd keep Lamb personally. What's up, Matt? How are you doing, man? Yeah, I mean, I am always myself. It's just a little bit more tame when we're streaming on when I'm streaming with other people, I guess, man. I'm a little more tame. But yesterday's stream with Pete, we got a little bit rowdy. Nick, who are your top five fantasy players this season? Now it really depends how you want to look at things here. Because I think that it really depends on how many receivers you're looking to draft in the first five. Because in reality, the safest top five players would be you go, not necessarily the safest, right? But Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, and then you go Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. If you want to include Eckler in there, which I probably would, that is fine with me as well. There is a lot of negativity going around right now, surrounding around one player, and that's Cooper Kupp, because apparently, since Matthew Stafford's dealing with that thing in his elbow, people think that's going to completely fuck Cooper Kupp over. And Cooper Kupp's ADP has been falling, Justin Jefferson rising. Now, on a lot of websites, I've been seeing Justin Jefferson come off the board as the number one wide receiver in all of fantasy football. So it's going to be very interesting to see how ADP shifts as we get closer and closer to late August and early September when you guys are doing your redraft leagues. Right now, I have seen Cooper Kupp go as the number one pick in some drafts as well. So it really just depends on the guys in your league and how they think of things. I think in best ball tournaments, you can even take either Justin Jefferson or Cooper Kupp number one overall. Most of the time, though, if I'm doing a bunch of these, which I plan to do a bunch of them, I typically just pick the guy that is sitting there at ADP. So if you get the number one pick, then typically you want to take either Jonathan Taylor or Christian McCaffrey, because it's going to be unlikely that you're going to be able to get those guys, say, fall to five. You're hilarious. Miss your videos. Keep it rolling. Definitely knowledgeable. And thank you very much, Matt. I really appreciate that. So if you guys want more fantasy football stuff, just watch the Stochastic Fantasy Football channel. I have VODs on their videos. I call them VODs, like as if that's what most people know them as, but videos on their solo as well as with some of my other coworkers. And I think all those videos are really good. We're doing right now a draft series. So I draft from every single spot inside of the first round, obviously. So picks 1 through 12. And then I discuss kind of my draft strategy from those spots. A lot of people like when I do mock drafts. They think that is very enjoyable to watch. So I've been doing a ton of those, and they've been getting pretty solid reception. So if you need help in your redraft league, make sure you check those out. We have a bunch of videos on here as well talking about best ball, and I think those are all very helpful as well. So the tournament right now, let's see. How many people are we looking for? We're looking for two more people here. So again, if you guys are new to drafters, make sure you check out that link in the video description. Get your free ticket to join on in here. And we're going to have a fun time today. Just doing a draft. It's going to be a little bit more relaxed. Maybe not as relaxed, right? Because it's just me. So I'm just going to be fucking rambling on and on and on. But yeah, it's going to be a fun time. So I hope everyone does end up enjoying. Make sure you hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. So some news blurbs to kind of discuss. Jameis Winston did end up getting banged up, but it doesn't seem like anything super serious to where you should be nervous. But it's more of like Jameis is banged up. We're probably not going to see him in practice for a little bit of time. The one big news blurb that I read is that Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker, Rashad Penny is seeing 91% of the fucking snaps in this offense so far. Now, I have been a humongous fan of Rashad Penny. So if you are a Rashad Penny guy, then good for you, right? You're with me. But if you're a Kenneth Walker fan, you're thinking Kenneth Walker is going to potentially take over from Rashad Penny. I really do believe that unless there is an injury, that Rashad Penny is going to be the clear lead back on this team. I think people are going to be a little bit surprised when that happens, even though you shouldn't be really surprised, of course, because that's just kind of all the reports we have been seeing. Looking at some other types of news, there hasn't really been much coming out today. There are a lot of inactives for these games that are happening. Preseason week number 1, I believe that it starts on Thursday. There's a decent amount of inactives, but it was nothing that was really coming out to me. It's not like someone tore their ACL or something super serious. The only really big news is just the things we've discussed, and as well as the Kareem Hunt potential trade, but it doesn't seem like they're going to end up actually trading Kareem Hunt. So our draft is starting here. Let me just refresh the page and then we will get on into this. Hope you guys do end up enjoying this draft. So again, here, since this is not a playoff format, you can actually not look as in depth when it comes to going ahead and trying to get that week 17 stack. Now, I think it is still useful. I think looking at that playoff schedule is very useful because you can come from out of nowhere if that week 17 stack does end up hitting. Say you go with it is the Cincinnati Bengals game versus the Buffalo Bills or the Rams versus the Chargers. Say one of those games goes crazy. You have that stack. You could potentially go from looking like you're out of things to being right in the swing of things and potentially winning the whole thing. So that's kind of just how I think. I think week 17 is definitely still pretty useful on here. So this is my first Drafters Million Best Ball Championship draft, but I have been doing the mini on here, which is I think $2.22 to enter $10,000 for first place. Now, obviously, if you're some type of a high roller, maybe that's not as enticing. But if you are new to best ball and want to kind of wet the beak a little bit, wet your feet a little bit, I would suggest joining that. It is very fun. It's a good way to, if you're just chilling out at night, you don't really got anything to do. It's pretty fun to just do these. I enjoy them. Oh yeah, missed your funny nicknames and unfiltered opinion. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Tommy. I really appreciate it. Alrighty, so we got about 25 seconds to draft. We're at the 10 slot here. If I'm being honest with you guys, there's so much talk right now about the top 5 picks of the draft. You have to be in this top 5 range so that you can get those 2 elite running backs. You can get those 3 elite wide receivers, Ja'Marr Chase, Justin Jefferson, as well as Cooper Kupp. But in my opinion, I still like drafting in the back. I think you can snag 2 solid running backs here, get a running back, a receiver, 2 solid wide receivers, or in some drafts, you can even get Travis Kelce here, depending on how bullish you are on Travis Kelce. Kelce is probably the only player on this Chiefs offense that I am 100% confident in, that I know exactly what is going to be happening with the Chiefs. I know that 100% Travis Kelce is going to be the guy getting fed the ball when the game is on the line. I know he's going to be getting fed the ball all game long as well as in the red zone, whereas they have Juju, they have MVS, they have Sky Moore, and I like all of them for fantasy football, but I know exactly what's going to be happening with Travis Kelce, whereas for these other players, it's a little bit more iffy. So I think that's pretty interesting. And I think people need to talk a little bit more about the later spots in drafts because it seems like people just kind of really hype up the top 5 picks. So, like I said, some people are taking Jefferson over Cooper Kupp now, but we do see Cooper Kupp go at the 103. I can zoom in potentially if this isn't the best view here. There we go. Zoom in a little bit. So Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry, and Austin Eckler. So we're about to be up on the board in a couple of picks here. And looking at the board right now, Ja'Marr Chase comes off. My pick would probably be now, again, maybe one of you guys are in the draft. I'm going to say this and I'm going to get fucking sniped. Yeah, Kelce probably would have been my pick if I'm being honest with you. I think that going with the first round tight end makes me a lot more confident, or one of these early guys in my tight end position, because to be honest with you guys, once we get past these top 5 guys, you want more zoom. Gotcha. We'll zoom in even further. So once we get past these top 5 guys, things start to get little bit confusing, right? Because besides Dalton Schultz, I would say I'm not very confident in these other guys. So I definitely want to go ahead and get one of these early tight ends if possible. So Kelce and Adams come off of the board here. It seems like everyone and their mom is kind of off of Najee Harris, but that makes me think that I should be in on Najee Harris because he's still a talented player. I understand he had that one game where he got a crazy amount of targets and that heavily elevated his target total. But for me today, we are going to go ahead and draft Najee Harris. I really do think even in Pittsburgh without Big Ben, I still think there's going to be a decent amount of dump offs going to Najee Harris. And I think the offensive line is better. Could I be wrong? 100%. It seems like there's virtually no one on Najee Harris right now. And I just think he's still a talented enough player. Might have been able to get him in the second round, though. Definitely we're not going to be able to get Stephon Diggs in the second round. It seems like Diggs is pretty locked into the first round. Besides Diggs, I think the other first round pick here is probably going to end up either being Lamb or Swift. It seems like people are also kind of out as a consensus on Cook. And of course, as I say that, right, Cook goes. But it seems like Cook has been falling because people just know that there's baked in injury risk that this guy's probably going to be missing a couple of games. So after we see Dalvin Cook, we see CeeDee Lamb. We're about to be back up on the board here. Typically in these best ball drafts, I do like to go receiver early on, but it really just depends how the board falls here. I like Mike Evans. I like Debo Samuel. I also like Saquon and Joe Mixon. On other websites, I have a lot of ownership of Najee Harris and Joe Mixon stacks. So we're going to go a little bit different here and go with a wide receiver. And we're going to go ahead and snag Mr. Debo Samuel. Debo Samuel just went ahead and got that big contract. Now, I understand that Najee Harris and Debo Samuel have the same bye week, but we've only made 2 picks, right? There's no need to worry just yet. Eventually, maybe we do want to worry because we drafted a million by 9 players, but it's only the second round. So I don't look at that much. And if you guys are in redraft leagues, looking at bye weeks for running backs, wide receivers is basically irrelevant. By the time it reaches bye 9, your team is more than likely going to be significantly different than what you're looking at your roster being in week number 1, because players get hurt, trades happen, you can cut players, add players off the waiver wire. So I don't really worry about the bye weeks at all, except for at quarterback and tight end, because of course you don't want to draft 2 quarterbacks on the same bye week. Same thing with tight ends, especially in best ball, right? Because then there's no chance you can even pick anyone up. So let's see. Sammy, the evolution of Nick Lepri, the young gun. Let's go Buffalo. Buffalo War Pigs. What's up, Sammy? How are you doing, man? Debo Samuel, Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley, A.A. Ron Jones, Mark Andrews, and Alvin Kamara. So pretty solid start to the draft here. Najee Harris and Debo Samuel. This draft hasn't really gone off the rocker yet, right? Nothing crazy has happened yet. I will point out if something really crazy goes on, and then we can kind of talk about it. But typically the first 3 rounds, nothing crazy happens unless you're in like a redraft league, or if you are in a best ball draft with people that are newer to best ball and maybe they just go ahead and start drafting players at just the wrong spot, right? If someone drafts Josh Allen inside the second round, or someone takes Patrick Mahomes in the third round, then things get a little bit crazy. But typically, it seems like in these best ball drafts, people kind of ride the ADP wave, at least early on. Pretty interesting to see Mike Evans and Tyreek Hill going in the second and the third round. I was thinking about potentially taking Mike Evans at pick number 15. I know it seems like some people might be pushing away from Mike Evans because, oh, Chris Godwin is going to be healthy, and oh, they're going to end up having some other players there, right? Obviously, they have Russell Gage, they have Julio Jones, but at the end of the day, Mike Evans is still the number 1 receiver. The guy has a shit ton of receiving upside. And obviously, he's a receiver, but I meant touchdown upside. He has a lot of touchdown upside. So after Mike Evans, we see Tyreek Hill, Josh Allen, and T. Higgins. So looking right now, again, still nothing strange has happened. While I would not recommend taking Josh Allen in the third round, I understand why some people do it. I don't do it, but I understand why people do that. Then we see T. Higgins, A.J. Brown, Keenan Allen. Interesting to see where there's going to be a couple of players in this draft that really intrigue me. Courtland Sutton has been a guy that has been rising up draft boards. Will we see him be selected in the third round now? I'm not sure. In most redraft leagues, he's going to go solidly in the 4th round, but it seems like in best ball, people are starting to really sharpen up to Courtland Sutton. There was an excellent clip. Now, again, I'm not getting my rocks off just from a training camp clip, but that clip of Courtland Sutton making that catch from Russell Wilson, chef's kiss. It was beautiful. I think that Courtland Sutton is really in an excellent position this year to just absolutely dominate. I like Jerry Jeudy as well, but it makes sense that Courtland Sutton's going higher because at least every report out of camp is just showing us that this is going to be Courtland Sutton early on. So looking at the board here, James Conner, Travis Etienne, Jalen Waddle, Courtland Sutton. If we draft Sutton, then we're going to have 3 guys on bye week number 9. Again, it still does not matter just yet. The question is looking at running backs, James Conner. Yeah, I think there's a fall off after James Conner. I know not everyone is in on James Conner because he scored, I believe, 18 touchdowns last year, and people are a little bit worried about the fact that he's going to fall off in terms of touchdown total. I think it's entirely possible that he falls off a cliff in terms of touchdown total, but I do think now with Chase Edmonds gone, that there's a lot more upside for James Conner to catch more passes in this backfield. And I really do think that this is going to be an offense that is at least good for the first half of the season. Hopefully this year they'll be able to play a little bit better. I don't know if you guys saw that narrative going around Twitter that Kyler Murray plays worse on double XP weekend. He plays worse when the new Call of Duty releases. And it's all funny, right? But it's not funny when you actually look into it because it's actually true that he plays worse then. So maybe we're going to have to go ahead and figure out some type of methodology to figure out when we want to be sitting Kyler in our redraft leagues because it's double XP weekend. I guess I'll just have to fire up the new COD and figure that out myself. So we're back up on the board here. James Conner, Jalen Waddle, Travis Etienne, Cortland Sutton, Terry McLaurin. Looking at the tight ends here, I like Waller, I like Kittle, but I'd rather just go with a wide receiver. We don't necessarily have too much correlation here, so I think let's just pick the best player available. And to me, that is Deontay Johnson. Again, we are kind of hopping heavily into the Pittsburgh Steelers bandwagon, but I think it's fine to draft these two because these are two obvious top 5 round picks in fantasy football. I think Deontay Johnson is kind of going under the radar right because last year with a terrible quarterback in Big Ben Roethlisberger, this guy was able to put up amazing numbers. Now, I understand Kissing Titties Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny 8-inch hands Pickett aren't the best quarterbacks ever, but I don't think Big Ben is either. So I think Johnson is going a little bit under the radar right now. Again, I'm not claiming he's going to be a top 10 receiver again. I just think he could be. So starting the draft off with these players is amazing. We've got a lot of Pittsburgh correlation here. We even got my boy James Conner, former Pittsburgh Steelers running back. I'm not a Steelers fan, though. I'm a Dolphins fan. You probably can't see it on my hat. It says Miami Dolphins, but that's just because we're drafting using StreamYard. Afternoon, y'all. Good afternoon, Hugo. What's up, Notorious? How you doing, man? I've been deep in the rabbit hole with your vids. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you. I'm glad you are enjoying. I think the videos on here as well as on the regular fantasy football channel have been very good, and we're really ramping up the production here. So I think these videos for the rest of August and obviously throughout the season are going to be very, very good. They take up a lot of my time, so I'm glad to hear that people enjoy. And please make sure you guys do leave a like on the stream when you're here. It really does help us out a ton. And right now, I'm just going to go ahead and pull up something on my second screen to figure out the week 17 matchups for some of these guys. Because again, you don't necessarily need the week 17 correlation, but I think it does help. The 49ers, I believe, play the Steelers. So I think we already have that correlation if my mind doesn't fail me. And that was incorrect. So you hate to see that. The 49ers play up against the Raiders, and the Pittsburgh Steelers play up against. Let's see here. Some of you guys probably have this already memorized, but I don't have the grace of memory for week 17 matchups, I guess. My brain's filled with a bunch of other useless information. The Baltimore Ravens, Steelers, Bengals. Very good, thank you. I had to go to one of those family ordered fantasy detox slash rehab things. Some things in life can't be fixed immediately. I love the show. Awesome Mo puts on the best. Stochastic best ball also. Thank you, man. Steelers slash Bengals. Yeah, we've got a bunch of nickname guys here. I think Rashad Bateman needs a nickname, but I think the fact that his name is just Bateman itself is funny enough. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. We got to think of some good nicknames. Maybe when I'm on these streams, we can figure out the nicknames, the new ones, because a lot of these guys already have. Sorry about that. They already have nicknames from prior years. So we got to fire up some good ones. Bill Chargers. Yeah, Bill's Chargers is an excellent one. I think a lot of people are going to be heavily invested on the Bills Cincinnati game as well as in the Chargers Broncos game. I think that's going to be, or not the Chargers Broncos game, Chargers versus Rams game. I apologize. All right, let's see here. Um, Again, we don't necessarily, there's no real Raiders guys on the board right here to get this correlation unless Waller's still available. He's not. And then we don't really have any Baltimore guys that are on the board here screaming values. So we're just going to go ahead and go with the best players available here at this spot. I don't really like Akers. I think he's a fine pick in the 5th round, but right here, I'm not in love. I love Adam Thielen. I understand this is a reach. If you're in a redraft league, then don't draft Thielen in the 5th round. It'll probably fall to like the 6th or 7th round. But I think Thielen has that touchdown upside that he had last year. He's a guy that could easily finish top 12 at the wide receiver position. A lot of people are forgetting how good that Adam Thielen is. And he was good last year, and people still keep forgetting. They keep drafting him too late. So my screen's about to go dark because my light's going to turn off, but it will come back on here. We could go with the Hunter Renfrow run back with the 49ers. I'm not super in love with that, but the issue here is if we don't do that, we're not going to get the run back. And I still am a pretty big fan of Hunter Renfrow. Do I think Renfrow has the same upside as Drake London, Elijah Moore? No, but I do think that he's a safe player that will fit into our lineup a decent amount. And this is a full PPR website. And I think Renfrow actually benefits pretty heavily from Devontae Adams joining the team. Same thing goes with Darren Waller as well. So I think that this is going to be an excellent Raiders team. So Master Bateman is also a solid nickname. I enjoy that. Or the Dark Knight. That's also a good nickname. The ones covering how to approach different draft orders. Yeah, that's what I was talking about a little bit earlier. Those videos, if you guys are playing in redraft leagues, I think are going to be very helpful. And I think we may be running them back at the end of August to give you guys like the freshest look at it. But right now, those videos have been helpful, and I'm glad that Hugo, it's been helping you. Uh, those are my teams. I'm not sure if they play each other this year. I'm going to check. Bills Mafia versus Tommy's Chargers. I win either way. Let's fucking go. Yeah, I think the Bills and the Chargers are both excellent stacks to be heavily putting a lot of weight into. I like the Dolphins stack as well. The problem is week 17, we get the Patriots. The Dolphins own the Patriots over the last couple of years. Tua literally, when Aaron Rodgers scored on the Bears, he's like, I own you. Tua owns Massachusetts, New England. He owns that whole place. But problem is it could be snowy in New England, and that might be causing. Remember that crazy ass weather game last year where they literally ran the ball? How many times did the Patriots throw the ball? I think 3 times. Mac Jones threw the ball. They just ran the ball the whole game. I hope that's not the case. I hope we don't have to ever watch something like that again. Because while it's interesting for real football, for fantasy football, DFS best ball, that could really sink everything. So I hope we don't have to see that again. So after Renfro, we see J.K. Dobbins, Elijah Moore, the Short King, Kyler Murray, Drake London, Kadarius Toney, Elijah Mitchell, Jalen Hurts, also another Short King. Actually, Jalen Hurts might not be short. That might have just been. Um, no, I think only Kyler's short. I think Jalen Hurts is not he's not super tall though. I digress. Josh Jacobs, Trey Lance, Brandon Ayuk, Antonio Gibson, AJ Dillon, Christian Kirk, Russell Wilson. So with the lineup we have right now, we definitely could go ahead and since Trey Lance got sniped from us, which sucks, we don't necessarily have to get him. I think getting Derek Carr is enough because the 49ers do play the Raiders and we already have Hunter Renfro. So I'm fine getting a guy like Derek Carr. We don't have to take him here, though. We might have to take it with the next pick, even though it is considered a reach because he might not come back to us at the 106. Joe Shiesty comes off the board as well. Dalton Schultz is a guy that I have been smashing the fucking draft button on. I think that Dalton Schultz is going to actually be amazing this season. I really think that people are sleeping on him because of the fact that he just scored so many touchdowns last year. That's bound not to happen again. Of course, as I'm going on some tirade on him, he gets picked. So we are probably going wide receiver or running back here. Kind of in the range where we already have the 2 running backs that I'm fine with. So we're just going to keep drafting wide receivers. This is a 3 wide receiver league, and it has a flex. Not the most positive reports coming out of camp recently on Treylon Burks. They're saying he's playing with the 3rd team, the 4th team. He's like the 3rd or 4th string receiver. That's complete and utter bullshit. If you actually believe that, it's basically like when Justin Jefferson a couple of years ago came out into the NFL, and then they're saying that Adam Thielen ranked ahead of him. That was fine. But they were saying BC Johnson was ahead of him on the goddamn depth chart. Don't believe in depth chart shit right now. Now, I did just go on a tirade about Rashad Penny earlier versus Kenneth Walker, but it's a little bit different when we're seeing Kenneth Walker just get dominated in touches. So here we're probably going to have to reach. Some of these teams don't have quarterbacks. This guy has Adams. If I don't take Carr, I think he's going to take him. It's definitely a reach if this was a redraft draft. But in terms of best ball, I'm fine reaching because I want to make sure that I have that correlation with the stacking and with the run back. So we got Carr as well as Renfro, but now we have the run back of Debo Samuel as well. So I think that's a perfectly fine pick. There's not necessarily some Raiders guys that I'm in love with. After Renfro and all the main guys, obviously. Uh, you draft a zillion teams on underdog like me. I'm trying to stack every team. Yeah, I draft on underdog. I draft on drafters. I draft on DraftKings. I draft on all of them. Yeah, I draft on all of them. On DraftKings, my name is just my real name. It's Nick Lepri. On here, it's Notorious FNTSY. Same with on underdog. George Pickens is flying up the ADP, flying up at ADP. What happened? He's just looking good in training camp. I mean, it makes sense, right? The guy was a talented player coming out of college. He just seems to be taking advantage of when Deontay Johnson was kind of sitting right when he got his contract, and he's been playing very well. Chase Claypool has been banged up too, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, Pickens seems like the clear number 3 receiver in Pittsburgh. One has to hit, right? Yeah, when you draft all these teams, they're eventually going to have to hit. So if you guys are new to drafters, again, if you've enjoyed this draft, you want to get in on the potential overlay here on the $20 tournament, make sure you check out the link in the video description. You'll get our free best ball draft kit and a free $20 drafters tournament ticket when you sign up and make your deposit with Drafters Fantasy. And I will put the link in the chat here, and you guys can go ahead and check that out. But pin that shit too, if possible. Yeah, I don't know how to do that on here. I don't think you can, but I know you can if I'm actually in the thing. So I'm interested to see. Do you guys think we would have gotten sniped here? This guy did take Adams. I think we would have gotten sniped on Carr. It does seem early though, right? You don't want to be taking Carr over Dak Prescott, who's clearly a better quarterback than Derek Carr. I also like Kirk Cousins a decent amount, if I'm being honest with you, but we don't have Jefferson, so we're gonna have to go with more of a bit of a deeper deeper kind of a stack. So we're gonna maybe have to go for a guy like KJ Osborne later or Irv Smith. Irv Smith did just have surgery though, which does concern me a little bit. I'm not much of a Mitch Bitch fan from Pitt, but I do like the receivers. Yeah, I don't think Mitch Trubisky is really that great, but I also don't think that Mitch Trubisky deserves this negativity that people just sling at him, right? He's not that bad. If you guys remember his rookie year, this dude literally looked like he was fucking amazing. I don't remember who it was against. He threw a zillion touchdowns. He was looking like the real deal. Um, Obviously things didn't work out though. So we're still kind of in this running back range where things are basically dead, but things are going to get even more dead if we don't take another one soon. So we have Harris and Connor, who I'm pretty confident in being the 1-2 punch this roster, but I don't want to wait super long before we select our third. And this is a 20 round draft, which is a little bit deeper. So you can get some deeper cuts at the running back position, but I really want to get Stevenson. I think Stevenson's going to be seeing a decent amount of touches here for this team. I don't think that he's, of course, dude. I need to stop fucking talking about these guys before I pick them. But in reality, I think that Damian Harris might still be the number one running back, but I think it's going to be a pretty close split there. So I'm fine taking Stevenson in the ninth round, especially in best ball when I don't have to worry about picking them. I think the Patriots running backs are excellent picks in best ball because you never have to figure out when to start them. Whereas in redraft, you're going to be sitting there, you say, hey, Nick, who do I start this week? Harris or Stevenson? I'm going to say Harris. It's going to be Stevenson, vice versa. That's how it's always going to be. That's what it is with the Patriots. Besides last year, who really Damian Harris was the clear guy. So we're back up here. We're just hunting for upside strictly. I think that Melvin Gordon's pretty safe. I really do think that he's going to end up splitting a decent amount of work with Javonte Williams. But Cordell Patterson does have a lot of upside. I understand the Falcons are by far and away not one of the best teams in the NFL. If anything, they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. But I do still believe that Cordell Patterson is still going to be a pretty strong position. Tyler Algier is going to be seeing touches, but I think at the end of the day, Patterson is the number one guy on that team. And sure, they brought in Drake London, but I like Drake London a ton. I still think Patterson's going to be seeing some work, and he has just a lot of upside. Looking at our receivers, we still have Debo Samuel, Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, Hunter Renfro, and Treylon Burks. I view this as a pretty safe wide receiver core. So if I didn't feel we had safety here, if I thought that we had a bit of risk, then I would have went ahead and drafted Tyler Boyd because Boyd just fills in. When one of your receivers has a shit game, Boyd fills in and he plays all right. But I want to hunt for the upside here. This could end up biting us in the ass, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson here. He looked excellent in college. I understand that Zach Wilson, the MILF Hunter, is far from this elite quarterback, but at the end of the day, I think that we could see a big leap from him this year. And I think that Garrett Wilson going in the 10th round is a solid discount for him. And if the Jets are going to be down in games, they're going to have to pass the ball. So obviously that's pretty positive for the end of games for Garrett Wilson's upside. And my biggest worry, though, is that Mekhi Becton, one of the offensive linemen for the Jets, did end up getting banged up. And there's no report on how serious it is now, but they were saying that it was pretty serious, at least early on. And I should not have eaten before I fucking streamed because I keep burping, but it's okay. I mute my mic, you know. I'm not going to burp in your guys' ear. So Garrett Wilson, Tyler, Boyd, Melvin Gordon, and Kenneth Walker. So we still don't have a tight end. Guys, I'm kind of in this mindset, and I've been in it all off season. If I don't get one of these top end tight ends, one of these Kelseys, Andrews, Pitts, Waller, Kittle, I'm just staying away. I'm just like, fuck it, right? Or Schultz. I like Schultz as well. I'm basically just thinking, what is the biggest difference between getting one of these like these later guys are all like the same to me. So I'm kind of just in the stand. I like Ertz a lot as well. He's definitely gonna get picked because I just said that, but I'm kind of just staying away from the middle round tight ends. I'd rather just wait till later. Makai Becton diagnosed with an avulsion fracture on the right knee, likely out for the year. Okay, I guess I didn't read that correctly then this morning, but oh, uh, I just read that now. So it seems like his season is over, according to head coach Robert Saleh. So thank you, Paul, for that. It sucks. That sucks for the Jets. And if I'm being honest with you, this happens every year to the Jets. I'm a Dolphins fan. The Jets always somehow get fucking banged up. They always something wrong always happens, and it sucks to see honestly because the Jets are looking like they're building something pretty solid for the future. So, look in here. Let's see what the Vikings run back is here. We do need some Ravens players, but there really aren't that many Ravens guys left, right, for that Ravens Pittsburgh correlation. Unless we go for some of the deep cut guys, like I like Prochet. Someone's gonna end up taking him now that I highlighted him, but I do like Prochet a lot. Seems like he's the number 2 guy in Baltimore. Alrighty, let's see. Yeah, Sammy, were you in the stream yesterday? I don't remember. We had Overzet on. He's awesome. We have had Spags on as well. You guys are the fucking fantasy professors. Thank you, man. We have a great time over here. Always have some fun time. So let's see. I think the Vikings play the Packers. The Packers also have some deep cut guys you can find deep in drafts. What's up, Spock? A lot of good late round Titans. Komet had 94 targets last year. Komet was on my team when I won a decent amount of money on DFS last year in my lineup. So I love Cole Komet. Let's see here. There's a decent amount of guys like Albert O. The problem with Albert O is that we've seen in the past Russell Wilson doesn't really throw to the tight end, but maybe things change this year. So I'm not just gonna go ahead and go out on him. We will talk about the late round tight ends in a couple of seconds here. I want to go wide receiver though. I think the pick here is DJ Chark. DJ Chark doesn't really correlate with our roster at all, but you don't need to have perfect fucking correlation on every pick. DJ Chark is getting a lot of steam in training camp. He's looking really good. And I just think DJ Chark's a good player. We haven't really seen him in a while because he's been banged up. He had that fantastic year. Let me see if I can pull up his stats on here. Let's see. Do we have No, we don't have prior seasons, but a couple of years ago, I don't want to say the wrong years, be like 2018, and that'd be wrong. It was like 2019 or something. But if you guys remember, DJ Chark was at one point a very solid wide receiver. So, and Kirk Cousins got sniped from us, so pretty disappointing. I like Pat Fryermuth. People aren't really talking about him, but again, that's more Pittsburgh players. We don't need fucking 3 guys on Pittsburgh. I like Henry. I like Everett. I like Tunyon if healthy. I saw Tunyon on Bussin' with the Boys the other day. Thought he did a great job on that. We do have Burks. So at this point, we're kind of just going to go for we're going to have to draft 3 quarterbacks because Tannehill's by 6 as well. But that's fine. Maybe we'll go with the MILF Slayer himself, Zach Wilson. So we are up here. We do have to make a pick. Looking at running backs, I want Damian Pierce here on our team. Damian Pierce is getting a lot of steam as well as a rookie running back. It seems like he might be the starter day one for the team. And if he's not and Marlon Mack's the starter for the first couple of weeks, then I think eventually Damian Pierce could take over again. We are pretty solid when it comes to running backs. So I'm fine with just waiting until a little bit later. The Jets run back would be, let's see, pull it up. I think the Jets play Seattle. Yeah, that was correct. So Jets, Seattle. And there's not really much great Seattle back, but I do kind of want to get some shares in Noah Fant because of how good of a player he is. Not necessarily the situation, though. Did you sneak in Yeah Boyd, or have you been saying that? I've been away for a month or so. No, I've been saying Yeah Boyd. I don't know if you've seen that video, Tammy. Look up my longest Yeah Boy. That's that's what that's a reference to. I think that came out when I was in like high school. It's like 2016. That shit made me laugh every single time. Is he really banging his mom's best friend, or is that wishful thinking? To be honest with you, I think it is true. So I think Zach Wilson is indeed piping his mom's best friend. Damn it, Captain Spock. I'm a doctor, not whatever the fucking script says. Alrighty. And if you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them in the chat because this is a long draft, right? We've been here for 40 minutes. There's probably like 20 more minutes left. So if you have any questions, it's not like I'm always needing to talk about what's happening in the draft. I can answer the questions you guys got. Love talking to you guys. These streams are always very enjoyable for me. So again, here looking at quarterback, I really like Matt Ryan late as well. So we're gonna ping Matt Ryan here. It looks like he's winking at me, but I think the picture is just not loading correctly. Let's see at receivers. Looking late, guys. I mean, again, if you guys are in the draft, you're just gonna hear my exact thought process, but it's okay. I mean, I'm sure if you've been watching these videos, you kind of know what my thought process is already. Alec Pierce and Petty Campbell are pretty solid picks as well. Let's pull up the Colts run back. The Indianapolis Colts are playing in Week 17 up against the New York Football Giants. So we could sling in a Wandale Robinson as well late. The problem is they don't have any tight ends you should be drafting in New York initially. Well, it seems like Daniel Bellinger, rookie, is going to be the starting tight end, but initially I thought it was going to be Ricky Seals Jones. I drafted a load of Ricky Seals Jones, and that was just a swing and a miss. Yeah, I think our team is looking pretty good so far. Let's see here. Definitely need a tight end soon, but there is just again, we're just kind of in this range where it's not very exciting. Dude, oh, I thought someone took Fant. I was about to say this fucking chat hates me, man. Probably gonna have to take Fant here. Again, I don't love Fant. I just want to get that. Wait, are we gonna go with the Jet stack though? I don't think we have to. So we don't need Fant. We don't need Fant. Someone took Matt Ryan, so we are gonna have to go with the Jet stack. So we're gonna go Fant. We're gonna have to go Fant because of the fact that Matt Ryan got stolen. So we're gonna go in the queue here. Take out Alec Pierce and Petty Campbell. We got James Prochet, Ryan Tannehill, Zach Wilson. I guess we're gonna have to go Zach Wilson first. I like Tannehill a lot, guys. I saw a clip of Malik Willis letting the thing fly. It was a great pass. That really did look good. But I think that at the end of the day, Tannehill is going to be the guy all year long. Wouldn't be surprised if he played every single game this year. I mean, Tannehill should play every game unless there's an injury. So we're going to go with the MILF Hunter himself, Zach Wilson. Again, I don't even think Zach Wilson is that great of a quarterback, but we are hunting for upside. And then Tannehill is going to be kind of the safer play here. Hooper's not a bad sleeper. I completely agree with you on that. Looking at sleeper tight ends, I like Hurst and Hooper the most. I really think that Hayden Hurst is going to score a decent amount of touchdowns, but that's all you're drafting for, right? In a redraft league, when you kind of have to figure out, yeah, buy six is the same as with Carr and Tannehill, but I'm perfectly fine doing that since I already am going to draft 3 quarterbacks. It's a little bit different on drafters because you have more bench spots, so you can invest more. If you're normally someone who drafts 2 quarterbacks on other websites, here you can just draft 3 quarterbacks. Puke Johnson was a good one. Let's see here. Do we have anyone? I really used to like Logan Thomas, but it seems like Logan Thomas is going to be missing some serious time here. I'm going to sip on my water, so I'm going to mute so you don't hear me gluggling this thing down. Alrighty. Yeah, so it seems like Logan Thomas might miss some time, but I do really like him, especially in redraft leagues where you can just draft him and throw him on your IR. So let's see here. What are you guys thinking about Watson right now? What's the chat's opinion? Because right when he was suspended 6 games, I drafted a Scrotum Thomas, what a name. I drafted a decent amount of Deshaun Watson, and now I am on the standpoint where drafting Deshaun Watson you just shouldn't do because he's probably going to get a whole season. Again, I kind of look at fantasy football for the mindset of here, we're just looking for the most upside possible. If Watson is suspended 12 games, he could legitimately, for those last bunch of games of the season, be the reason why you win one of these tournaments. That's just how I look at things. But again, it seems like it's going to be the whole season now. And I'm not going to say 100% that's what's going to happen, but I kind of do worry about it. Damn, Zoldsters is snagging a lot of guys I like. This has been a solid draft so far for Zoldster. Let's see here. It might not be a whole season, though, Sammy. It just. All right, look, I'm going to be honest. I think Watson at this point, again, I'm not the lawyer or anything, so what do I know exactly? But I think he's going to get either 12 games or the full season is what it seems like right now. That's just kind of my best bet onto things right now. And all these tight ends are getting taken, which sucks. Pretty annoying here, but it is what it is. We do have some preseason action this weekend, which should be exciting, but it's only exciting for a little bit because you see a couple of guys play, and you're like, holy shit, it's amazing. And then you realize that the rest of things aren't going too great. Let's see here. Captain Spock, you were married to a Karen, like her name was Karen, or like she had like Karen like tendencies? Oh fuck, dude. These tight ends are ass at this point. We're probably gonna have to go 3 tight ends as well. Okay, it's fine though. Gonna go Tannehill. And then we need another running back. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more picks. So we're definitely fine. Definitely fine here. Let's see. At tight end, we're gonna have to draft 3. We're basically got absolutely butt fucked by the fact that everyone has a decent amount of tight ends. I guess I should have just read the room a little bit better, but it's fine. I like Mo Alley Cox, and I think we can just draft either Uzama, or where's the other Jets tight end? Tyler Conklin, and get that correlation with the MILF Slayer. Our 4 running backs are pretty solid. We're gonna need to draft another one though. The tight ends, it can't get much worse by the time things swing back around. So we're just gonna wait. Noah Gray season, yeah, it's seeming like Noah Gray season. Looking at the running backs we have, I like Jamal Williams. I think he's an excellent backup, and I also think that he's solid when he's in the game with DeAndre Swift as well. Like he's not a guy that's going to carry you to win the best ball championship here, but he's also not going to like derail your team. So say on by 13 when Connor's out, realistically Jamal Williams will sit perfectly fine in your roster, getting 7, 8 points and won't completely screw you over. So I think we've had a pretty solid draft so far. Again, I'm hoping no one triples up on the tight end position because then obviously we're going to end up with even worse of what we're having here. I drafted OJ Howard last night because I think it would be really funny if the reason why I won a decent amount of money would be because OJ Howard scores a touchdown at the end of the game up against the Bengals. I think that's either Monday night or Sunday night football. So, yeah, Jamal Williams is a very consistent player. The problem is his upside. Any of these running backs right here, their upside's very limited. Late round running backs I like right now since we're kind of on the topic here. Dearness Johnson's a guy I would pick strictly because there's a chance that he gets traded or cut. I don't think they're going to cut him, but they could also trade Hunt is kind of what I'm talking about here. Isaiah Pacheco, dude is on fire in Kansas City camp. Again, how much can you buy into it? I think CH is still the guy. But again, for late round upside picks, I like him. Trey Sermon. Seems like he's getting a decent amount of smoke as well out of training camp. I always like drafting Boston Scott because for some reason he always gets work, even if Gainwell's good. Those are kind of just some of the late round guys I'm looking at here. Pretty solid team we've got so far, honestly, except for the tight end position. It could bite us in the ass. This guy does take Brevin Jordan. So we could end up getting bit directly in the ass here, or things could end up working out well here and we just draft 3 tight ends professionally here and end up with a solid team. We definitely need we need 2 tight ends. We need another receiver for sure. So either we're gonna go 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, or 2 tight ends, a running back and a receiver. But I like our running back room enough where I don't think I'm gonna draft 2 more running backs. Yeah, it's crazy, Spock, how that no one talks about this. How CH had a bladder surgery and lost a ton of weight before last season, and they don't even bring it up. That's the thing that sucks about NFL reporting. Like, why did we not know that last year? And look at that green run. Mo Alley Mo Cox is also awesome. I love Mo Alley Mo Cox. Brait is also in a weird spot because Brait like was getting steamed, and then they bring it up Kyle Rudolph, and then people kind of just stop talking about him. Pretty interesting. Yeah, Samaje P. Ryan is also sneaky good. I agree. Got to run, fellas. See you, Hugo. Thank you for joining the stream, man. I like Samaje P. Ryan as well, since people are steaming up Evans. Dude, I still can't believe in the fucking Super Bowl with the game on the line, though, that you would give the ball to Samaje P. Ryan, not Joe Mixon, right? Am I crazy for thinking that? Like, am I crazy for believing that Samaje P. Ryan shouldn't have got the ball on that last play? He didn't even catch the ball, but they threw him the ball, and that was enough to piss me off. I think we're gonna go Uzama, just again strictly hunting upside here, just hunting for as much upside as possible. Uzama, CJ, who's your mama? All right, we got two more picks left. Definitely need at least one more receiver. Let's see here. Hope you guys have been enjoying the stream thus far. Again, please make sure if you did enjoy, you hit the like button. It really does help us out a ton. I wish there was StreamYard had a better way. Like, I guess this also looks good, but the problem is I get blocked by our thing. I should probably ask if we can get. Never mind. You know what, you guys? This is behind the scenes stuff to talk about here. I'll fix myself. Oh, that's not what we want either. We want this. Bang. I think that look was a little bit better, so I'm gonna try to figure out a way we can get a template that looks good with that. That shit was either rigged or some stupid fucking call. Either way, it was fucked. No, I don't think anything was rigged, but yeah, I do think that that was an awful play call by the Bengals. Just downright stupid. But letting Cooper Cup just go hog wild on you all game also is not a great strategy. Yeah, maybe you should cover Cooper Cup in the Super Bowl. That's just some good strategy here. Thank you guys for watching the stream. By the way, I greatly appreciate all of you guys joining. We could have went for maybe more of a deep cut and went for Trubisky instead of Tannehill because we have so many Pittsburgh players, but I don't know. I mean, Trubisky might get benched. Like, I think Trubisky's better than Pickett, but the problem is you don't draft Pickett in the first round if you're just going to let him fucking ride the bench all season, right? Oh, it's a tough situation here. A lot of solid running backs still available here. Nothing crazy happened in this draft, though. 20-person roster is crazy. I like the 20-person roster here for best ball, but yeah, it takes a while. Fuck, James Prochet got sniped from me. In half PPR, when where you start one more wide receiver than running back, do you value running back or receiver more in the flex? Receiver, I think you should be looking to start 4 receivers at a time. Now, every week is that possible? No. But yeah, you should be looking for 4 receivers. Cooper Cup was locked up the entire third quarter. Yeah, but at the end of the game, is Cooper Cup sealed the deal. 20-person roster is crazy. Yeah, I do think it's a little bit different. Catch them off guard, I guess. Great fucking call for the Rams. Not a bad bowl. Yeah, that was a good Super Bowl. Um, you never know. I mean, what happens if P. Ryan catches that, gets the first down? Maybe history is different. Maybe if Joe Burrow doesn't get laid out, get banged up in that game, then maybe things go different. But again, you have to assume he's going to get laid out. That Rams defense was insane. Insane. All right. Looking like we're not going to get any Baltimore run back because there's no Baltimore players that are even remotely exciting. Alrighty. Let's go. Tyquan Thornton, Pete Overzet has kind of talked about him a lot. He's kind of a guy I'm starting to kind of look at a decent amount more. I just don't know rookie receivers with Billy B isn't necessarily always the best. I love Braxton Berrios, but we're already pretty invested in the Jets. Let's see here. So let's go Thornton since I don't have any Thornton. Again, I think it's kind of risky, but we are just looking for high upside. It is the 19th round, right? Feel bad for N'Keal Harry, right? The guy finally gets out of New England. Maybe it was New England. I don't think so. I think he just wasn't good. But he finally gets out and then he gets hurt again. Cole Beasley, I think, is a pretty interesting pick because he's bound to get signed by someone, right? I would think. Yeah, Spock, I agree with you. It does depend if your running back is stable, but realistically, when you go into a draft like that, I think you should be going into the draft with more of an approach towards the wide receiver position if you can start four at a time. And the thing with if you draft Cole Beasley, he's going to be unowned in a decent amount of leagues. I think Tylan Wallace is also kind of a deep cut receiver you can look for here. Deep in drafts, 15 seconds. My Rogers I like as well. Jalen Guyton. Let's go Beasley. I'm like so sure he's going to get signed by a team, right? There's no way that someone doesn't pick him up. I have drafted decent amount of James White as well. And Cole Beasley to the Texans is not a bad call. That's going to definitely fuck up a lot of people who are pretty high in Nico Collins, though. I think Beasley's going to cut in there. But yeah, this is an interesting build. Normally, I don't go three quarterbacks and three tight ends, but I thought that's what was needed of this team we drafted. So, I mean, again, you don't want to go with the same exact build for every team. So I think this is definitely way different than anything I've drafted before, and basically is impossible on any other website other than, oh, I guess technically on DraftKings is possible too because you got 20 rounds, but on Underdog, there's no way you're drafting three quarterbacks and three tight ends. That would just be amazing. Big love from New England, man. Another big fantasy year. Thank you, Adamson. Thank you. Oh, big love. I think I said from New England. You're from England. That's fucking amazing, man. It's crazy. Every time I see these comments, people are like, "Oh, I live here." It's crazy. Everyone, it's crazy. People just, I don't know. That maybe this doesn't make sense, but it's weird to think that people that aren't in the U.S. care this much about fantasy football, best ball, all these things. It's always been very interesting for me. So I appreciate everyone who watches the videos that I put out and the videos that we always put out every day. So thank you guys. And if you are watching this stream and you're wondering where all my fantasy football stuff is, it is on the Stochastic Fantasy Football channel. There's a lot of stuff on here, the basketball channel, that is basically you can take exactly what I talk about in best ball and apply it to your fantasy football league. The only thing is different is kind of how I approach the draft. But my player analysis is basically spot on the exact same thing. So thank you, Adamson. I really appreciate it. The first BBM was 20 rounds. Yes, it was. All right, so to recap our roster, we have three quarterbacks: Derek Carr, Zach Wilson, Ryan Tannehill. Our running backs were Najee Harris, James Conner, Cordero Patterson, Damian Pierce, and Jamal Williams. As long as Harris and Connor can stay healthy, I think with just five running backs, this build is perfectly fine. If one of them gets hurt, then obviously this is all fucked. But you're assuming the best possible things happen when you draft these players in best ball. Our receivers are Debo Samuel, Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, Hunter Renfro, Traylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, DJ Chuck, baby Chuck, Tyquan Thornton, and Cole Beasley. Our tight ends are Noah Fant, Miley Cox, and Uzama. The tight end core is looking bad news bears, but I think Uzama, uh, Fant, and Ali Cox, if they can all stay healthy, I think we can have a solid roster here. So thank you, Sammy. Solid team. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you guys all so much for watching today's stream. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to copy paste kind of if you guys want to sign up for drafters, how to do so with the link down here. You'll be receiving a free entry into this tournament that I just drafted in. And you'll be getting our best ball draft kit, which includes our fantasy football draft kit for 100% free. So if you're new to drafters, make sure you use this code. It really helps us out a ton. And again, let me just go back to the main page here. It seems like this contest is going to have overlay, meaning that it's not going to fill and that you are going to be able to have a significantly higher chance of winning. Obviously, if not everyone fills, it's a guaranteed, it's a GPP, it's guaranteed to run with $250,000 to first place. So I think this is an excellent tournament to enter. Again, 11,000 entrants out of 55,000. We are around a month away from kickoff on September 8th. The Buffalo Bills versus the LA Rams. So I think if you guys want to get in on this, start drafting now. There most likely will be overlay. Again, I'm not telling you lock of the century. It's not gonna fill, but I think maybe we get to 45,000 or 50,000, and that alone gives you a solid edge in this. You only have to finish top 9,175. 9,175. Yeah, 9,175 to double your money and get $40. And again, this is not a playoff based tournament. This is just based off of how the season goes. as a whole. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I really do love all you guys. I appreciate all the support you guys have shown me as well as all the other content creators on here. It really does mean a lot to me. I love you guys more than you'll ever know. Thank you guys for everything. I'm gonna hit the outro here. Have a great rest of your guys' day. See you beautiful bastards soon with some more content. Love you guys. Adios.